Calling all stations, calling all stations, calling all stations to BC Aries Net. This is K9OPL, Kilo Alpha 9, Oscar Papa Lima, Joe, located in Columbus, Bartholomew County, serving as net control for this session to BC Aries Net. Emergency, priority, or welfare traffic. Please alert me with the per words break break. I will assist you with your emergency at that time. Do we have any non-emergency traffic? Every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. local time on the Columbus Amateur Radio Club 2-meter repeater on this frequency 146.79 megahertz with a minus offset of 103.5 hertz PL tone. And this net's purpose is to communicate information concerning Aries and other amateur radio related activities occurring in and around Bartholomew County, and to serve as a training session for local BC Aries members. All duly licensed amateur radio operators are invited to participate. Do not need to bring traffic to the net, nor do you need to be a BC Aries member. Please use directed net protocols at all times during the net. Once again, your net control station is K9OPL. My name is Joe. When checking in, please give your FCC call sign in plain English, followed by that same call sign using standard ITU phonetics. Give your name and your county. Time, do we have any stations with announcements for the net this evening? Please call now.
CJT, one announcement.
With an announcement. Any other announcements? Announcement.
Thank you, Joe. KC9TXR's estate, the radio equipment thereof, will see a large sale. The date is April 3rd. That's Saturday, April 3rd. The time is 9:30 to 12:30 in the morning, local time. The location is Franklin Community Church. And once I get confirmation of an updated price list, I'll send that out, and the information that comes with it will include even a map on how you find the place. Again, that's Franklin Community Church, Franklin, Indiana. It's very near I-65, and it's 9:30 to 12:30, Saturday, April 3rd. That, by the way, was going to be the Columbus Tamfest date, but as you all know, that isn't happening this year due to this wonderful coronavirus. Let me reset. There will be no early sales. You can get there at 6 a.m. if you want to, but they're not going to start selling until 9:30. Probably won't even let you in until 9:30. They require masks. They require cash, i.e. no checks or credit cards. And all sales are final. There will be power strips made available so that equipment can be checked out if you need 110 AC to see how it works. And there will be restrooms available, although there will be no other amenities like food and that sort of thing. I think that covers it. I will send out all the details again once Paul's brother-in-law has given me the final list. But the final list will be very similar to one I sent out maybe a month ago or so. I'll stand by throughout the net for any questions, and for now I'm going to turn it back to net control. Thank you, Joe. N9CJT.
Okay, thank you, Noel. This is K9OPL at the BC Areas Net. We will move on to taking check-ins. Check-ins will be handled by order of call sign suffix, and we will begin with stations with call sign suffixes which begin with the letters Alpha through Lima. Alpha through Lima.
Kilo 9, Juliet Alpha, Juliet, that's K9JJ, Jeff in Bartholomew County.
Time, no traffic.
KC9AAO, Kilo Charlie 9 Alpha, Alpha Oscar, Greg Bartholomew.
9JAJ and KC9AAO, there was perhaps a double, and the only thing I got out of the other ones were some chunks and someone who said no traffic but didn't get any call sign. So if you were not one of the two that I just called and you were trying to check in, try it again, please.
Kilo 9, Juliet, Tango, Victor, Jeff, Morgan County, no traffic.
There was another K9 Juliet Tango Victor, got you. Thank you. Any others? Alpha through Lima.
Kilo Delta 9, Romeo Whiskey Kilo, Josh, Columbus, no traffic.
Educational purposes, you should call during the second half of the alphabet since your suffix starts with the letter R, but we got you down. Any others? Alpha through Lima. There is net. Let's go with suffixes Mike through Zulu, please.
Kilo 9, Romeo, Mike Romeo, repeat, K9RMR, Randall and Rueff, Taylorsville, Bartholomew County. Good evening, Joe, and everybody else on the net this evening.
89RPB, Kilo Delta 9, Romeo Papa Bravo, Bruce, Columbus.
Lawrence County.
When I got the word county and nothing else, and I think there was a double in there as well, maybe, but I got K9RMR and KD9RPB, other stations that tried to check in.
November, Tango 9, Whiskey, NT 9W, David, Lawrence County.
KD9QPN, Kilo Delta 9, Quebec, Papa November, Mike, Bartholomew County.
I did get NT9W and KD9QPN. Once again, KA9OPL with the BC Areas Net. Let's take the entire alphabet before we go back for comments. Anyone else? From you all, and we'll go back to N9CJT.
Thanks, Joe. Good to hear everyone checking in this evening. I will add one other comment, and that is K9RMR has received permission to take down and move his neighbor's antenna. That means Randall will own a 50-foot tower which needs to come down from the neighbor's house. They think it's ugly. And he's going to need some help doing that because he's physically unable to climb towers. So I'm hoping that some folks around here would be willing to give him some assistance with that, and he can give you more details when you get around to him. This is N9CJT, back to net control.
Okay, well, I hope his mother doesn't think it's too ugly. But, all right, well, we'll hear more about that then. Move on to Jeff, K9JAJ. Good evening.
K9OPL, this is K9JAJ. Good evening, Joe. Good evening to everyone else that's also listening, checked in, and otherwise. Not much to say here this evening. Fine weather day. Looking forward to spring coming. I noticed Noel sent out some weather information. If you're on the CARC mailing list or the BC Aries mailing list, check your emails for that information as well. That's about it for me, Joe. Thanks for picking up the net this week. Appreciate it. And we'll be back here next week, same time, same channel, and I'll be in the big chair. Thanks again, Joe. K9OPL from K9JAJ.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Jeff, and thanks for everything you do. Thanks for that info on the last man standing. Anyone who did not see that, that's a week-long event that starts tonight. It's going to be in pretty much all over the bands, including there'll be some digital mode activity on the weekend, I believe. So, it's WA6 LMS, I think is the correct call. Anyway, you can look that up, and if you're on the mailing list, you should have it in your inbox. KC9AAO, Greg, your turn.
Hey, Joe. Appreciate you running in tonight. Sitting out back on the back porch enjoying the weather. Looks like it's going to come in tomorrow for us.
Good, completed, Greg. You're pretty well noisy in there this evening. Usually a little bit better than that, but I got most of what you said. K9JTV, your turn. Tango Victor, any comments for the net? Your turn. Your turn for comments.
K9RMR, Joe. You're all we got was your turn for comments. We did, at least I didn't catch whose call sign you were giving out.
Okay, I wonder if I'm having a problem here. Are you guys copying now? This is K9OPL.
Comment.
Go ahead, Jeff.
JT copies fine.
Yeah, Joe, K9JJ here. I copied everything you said. You went down through a couple of call signs, didn't get any replies, and stopped with K9RMR responding to you. Also just heard that Noel said he's copying you fine as well, so you're getting out, buddy. Back to you, sir, K9JJ.
Hey, thank you, Jeff and Noel, for that info. Just making sure. May put a meter on this later just to make sure how much it's putting out. K9RMR, any comments? Your turn.
Well, thank you, Joe. First of all, the weather here in Taylorsville is pretty amazing. There's a lot of families walking their dogs and kids out playing and doing stuff. You can probably hear it in the background. The neighborhood kids are out enjoying themselves. And as Noel said earlier, the good news, I wrote a letter to our neighbor that has I think it's about a 50-foot antenna. I'm guessing it's 50 foot because the house is 2 stories, and the antenna seems to be about twice that size. Or not the antenna, but the tower seems to be about twice that size. And Sunday afternoon, I wrote him a letter, and this afternoon, the wife gave me a call about 3 o'clock, and basically said the antenna's ugly. They don't want it. They don't need it. And if I want it, I was more than welcome to take it. So I was very excited. Obviously, there's going to be some learning as to what I'm going to have to do as far as grounding and taking it down and getting it moved. And I was planning on painting it to make it look good. And there's a lot of things that will have to be done yet. But I was just excited to the fact that I'm going to be able to get what's approximately a 50-foot tower. So I'm very excited. And like I said, it's going to be a learning process and lots to do yet, but it's been a good day as far as ham radio and me are concerned. So I'm very excited. And with that, I will turn it back to Net Control.
You'll be ready to work all kinds of HF, and you'll be able to get D-Star going, I'm certain. And you won't have any trouble with connecting to local repeaters for certain. All right, KD9, Romeo, Papa, Bravo, Bruce, your turn.
Good evening, Joe. This is K9RMR. Today I attended the weather training. That was pretty good, although I was trying to work through it, and everybody kept calling me and texting me everything, and I ended up answering some of the questions back to my daughter instead of the group that was doing the training, so that was kind of funny. Shout out to Randall. Congratulations on the antenna. If you need a hand, give me a holler. I've been known to climb an antenna when I was a younger man, so I can't guarantee I can climb now, but I can sure try it, help it, move it. So that's about all I got tonight. Back to you, Joe. K9OPL to KD9RPB.
Okay, well, very good. So it sounds like, Randall, you got one volunteer there now. That's a good deal. Thank you, Bruce. NT9W, your turn for comments.
NT9W, thanks a lot, Joe, for hosting the net tonight. And I'm not sure how well you guys are receiving me, but I can hear you loud and clear on this end. And congratulations to Randall on finding that tower. I'm on the search for one myself and not having that kind of luck. I left 2 notes on different homes this weekend that had 50-foot towers with no antennas on top, so I know they're not being used, but so far no calls or texts back. But I'm wanting to put a 2-meter antenna on top of it and use it as a center point for a fan dipole as well. Back to the net.
Yeah, that was pretty convenient to have one right there next door, and Randall took the action he needed to take to ask the question, and they were more than happy to give it to him, so that's a great deal. KD9QPN, Mike, it's your turn.
K9OPL, this is KD9QPN. Good evening, Joe, everybody on the net. Beautiful day. Got to experience it mostly because I had a dentist appointment and was driving to and from that. But other than that, glad for the good weather and looking forward to this weekend. Hopefully do some antenna playing, and that's about all I know. So that's it for today. Have a great day, everyone. 7-3. This is KD9QPN. Back to net control.
Okay, very good. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, it really was sensational. I didn't get to get outside until about 5:45. I went out there and just walked to the mailbox. Whoop-de-doo. I've been on call this week, so I've really been keeping pretty busy and just barely getting away from my desk enough to get some lunch and coffee breaks. And that's the way it goes sometimes when on-call week is. This one's been pretty hectic. I'm going to call the other 2 stations one more time, just in case they happen to be there and they want to respond. K9JTV, Juliet Tango Victor, if you're around for comments, come on ahead. Kilo Delta 9, Romeo Whiskey Kilo, your turn if you would like to make comments. OPL, and this is the BC Aries net. So I will stand by. Do we have any other takers? Anyone else who'd like to join in this evening, please call net control. It closed at 7:54 Eastern Daylight Time this evening. Thanks to the Columbus Amateur Radio Club for the use of repeater. Thanks to everyone who checked in, and look forward to hearing you on the next net. Good evening, 73s, K9OPL, clear.
N9CJT with a printer question that I've used for probably, gosh, I'm going to say maybe 10 years. still in excellent working condition, can still get standard cartridges for it from many different locations. Nice printer. About, I'm going to say a month ago or less, both of my Windows 10 computers, I've tried it both at the office and here at the house, have lost the ability to connect to the printer. One of them says there is no printer, and the other one says we don't have the drivers for this printer, and that's after a complete update from the printer website. The odd thing is that my wife's Mac still can print with that printer. So what do you recommend for figuring out why Windows 10 can't see the printer anymore, and the update software won't even complete? In other words, the software says we cannot complete this, installation failed, etc. for Windows, but it's still working perfectly for a Mac. Over.
That you downloaded from the site says it will not install?
Correct. It goes through the entire installation routine, takes about 15 minutes or so, and then suddenly says installation failed.
That's pretty strange. I would say probably, since it's dead in the water at the moment on those machines anyway, at least try this with one of them. I would try going to your device manager and seeing if you can find that printer and tell it to uninstall it, just in case there's a remnant of it or if there's a broken driver. Tell it to uninstall it, and then unplug it, reboot the system, plug it in, and see whether it finds it. If it doesn't, then at least at that point you might be able to try reinstalling those drivers that you just downloaded, if that makes any sense.
Okay, I think, Joe, that I've done that. What I realized I haven't done is unplug the printer for a week. But I have gone to where it sees the printer with no problem and uninstalls it and will not reinstall with the fresh drivers. Now the other computer, the one at work, I have not uninstalled anything because it was working beautifully the last time I had the printer there, and the computer that will not find it now is has not been altered or uninstalled or anything, but I've gone through that whole thing with one computer with no luck. Do you think unplugging the thing for a week would let something inside reset?
Well, it wouldn't have to be a week. And the other question is, just because the cable, are you using the same cable on every place that you use that printer, including the Mac where it does work? Or is there a possibility that maybe the cable you're using for Windows coincidentally has a problem, has developed a problem? Are you using that same cable on the printer when you have it at home and when you have it in the office? And is it the same or a different cable than the one that it goes to when it's on the Mac?
I don't think I've used a cable with this printer in years. I've got it set up through the router, and it doesn't work on the Windows 10 and router at home. It doesn't work on the Windows 10 and router at work, but it works at either location with the Mac.
Okay, got it. So it's a wireless. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm showing my old-timey stuff. I've still got a printer with a cable on it. Mine doesn't even have wireless, but I could have added if I want. Well, yeah, I would say you could literally unplug it. I assume that must mean unplug it, meaning you'd have to just turn it off, unplug it from the wall, leave it off, just reboot your system and bring it back on and see if it finds anything. And boy, that's about the only thing I can think of right offhand. Could do some searches, I guess, to see if anyone else is having a problem since the latest Microsoft updates with that particular printer, because those things do happen sometimes.
Roger that. Well, the manufacturer's website did allow me to, well, in fact, it automatically collected the failure report. So who knows, maybe in another 6 years, they will have come up with something else in the way of software configuration to fix the problem in relation to Windows updates. But since this printer is 10 years old, I'm not holding my breath on a software update. They'll probably, if I call them on the phone, they'll probably just tell me it's not supported anymore, go buy a new one from us.
Well, quickly, I'll tell you a funny story. When I got my new laptop this past year, well, a year ago now, I've got an old HP LaserJet, and it's probably 16 years old at least. And I installed the drivers back in the days of Windows 7, I believe. Well, actually, I probably installed them originally under XP. Any case, I ran it under a Windows 10 machine before I got this new one. It was Windows 10, but this new one didn't have drivers for it, nor did it say you could get them. And I had to reconstruct the drivers by pulling all the files that I thought it needed off of my other computer, and I made a package out of it and eventually got it to work. Actually, no, I'm telling you a lie. It wasn't the printer that I had to do all that for. It was the scanner, which was about the same age. The printer actually surprisingly still worked, and I'm actually surprised that yours, it probably will be able to be resurrected, but I'm not exactly sure what combination is going to eventually get you there.
K9RMR.
I'll start with pulling the 3-prong plug out of the wall and leaving it there on the floor for several days and then giving it another shot. I don't hang into these things more than one late night at a time. But while I got you, I wonder if I could describe a cartoon to you that I think you'd enjoy.
Sure, describe away.
Okay, it's called The Media's Guide to Protesters. And it's got two people contrasted with each other. One is a guy in an Occupy Wall Street shirt, and the other is a lady in a Tea Party shirt. and the guy is wearing a Masonic hat, which is indicated as being a cool symbol. The label next to his ear says "Fueled by Passion." There's a circle with a red slash through it over the American flag that says "Just a Button." He's carrying a book by Karl Marx, which is labeled academic literature. He's got a sign that says "Capitalism," and then the S word, and then "Behead Bankers." And the little pointer says "This is a sensible concern." And that's compared to the lady with the, according to this, stupid teabagger hat. The arrow next to her ear says "Fueled by Rage." There's a button on her shirt that says "No Obama," and it's called a racist button. There's a patch on her arm that says the patch says "Don't tread on me," and it's labeled "Violent Rhetoric." She's carrying a book by Adam Smith that's labeled "Extremist Literature." And she's got a sign that says "Less Government," and it's labeled a hateful slogan. Well, the first guy is considered to be the legitimate voice of America, and the lady next to him is labeled Radical Fringe Movement. I hope you followed all that, but I kind of enjoyed looking at it, so I thought I'd share it with you.
That's pretty cool. I guess I'm the radical. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty funny. Oh, well. Okay. Anyway, yeah, keep me posted if you find out anything else on that printer.
Okay, I will do. I just have this, I guess you'd call it disgusting habit of continuing to use things rather than replacing them at the first indication of trouble.
I must have the same one because you heard what I went through to resurrect my scanner. Perfectly good flatbed scanner. It's an HP also. And it's working great now on my new computer. And I took it, when I finally got all the right files together, I made a package of them and backed them up so that I'd have them for the future if the scanner outlasts my next computer. Hi. Anyway, good to talk with you. I'm going to let you go unless you got anything else, and talk to you later. N9CJT, K9OPL.
Okay, Joe. Well, thanks for your time. I appreciate it. And I would have no clue how to go fish all those files out of one computer and move them to another, even if I had a computer that worked. And certainly I'm not going to try fishing files out of a Mac and putting it in a PC, but anyway. Let you know what transpires, if anything. Maybe when I unplug the thing, it will magically evaporate. 7-3, and thanks again, Joe. Appreciate it. N9CJT, see ya.
And one more thing just popped in my head. What is the model of that printer? Do you know?
HP PhotoSmart C4780. Again, HP PhotoSmart C4780.
Okay. Well, I may do a little bit of searching. See if I find anything that jumps out at me. All right. 73s for now. Have a good one. K9OPL.
Thanks again. N9CJT is clear.
N9CJT, K9RMR.
Randall?
I was listening. I just happened to think of something you might try to. I had a problem similar to that a couple of years ago on my Mac, and one of the devices wouldn't work, and I was having trouble with it based on what you were talking about. And you might try running a hard disk or find a thing that will check to see if your hard disk is working. I had a similar problem with something a couple years ago where one of the sectors of the hard disk, for some reason, got corroded or wasn't working correctly, and basically I ended up doing a hard disk check, and turned out the bad situation for me was about a month later, after I did this checking and I had all these problems, the hard disk ended up crashing permanently, and I had to replace the hard disk. So you might find some software, if you don't have some already, to check and see if your hard disk is fully functional. And I guess the warning with that is that if there's something wrong, you might seriously consider, if you haven't already, doing a backup of anything that's important on your hard drive. So that was just a thought I had, and I'll let you go from there.
Okay, Randall, well, you've reminded me of something that I haven't done in a long time, which is to actually do a disk check. Let me turn my flashlight off. But I don't think it would be hitting both Windows 10 systems in the same way, so other than the fact that I probably didn't need to do a disk check on both of those computers, both the one here and the one at work, I don't think that's going to fix my problem. But thanks for the idea anyway. Which reminds me, Bruce, KD9, ends in a PB. Are you still around? K9RMR, are you still around, Bruce? Interest in helping out, I thought I'd touch base with him, but we'll do that later. Have a good evening, and don't drool too hard. N9CJT, see ya.
Okay, well listen, like I said, no hurry, just whenever. It was just an idea as far as the computer. I mean, talk to enough people, eventually you'll figure something out. So hopefully it's nothing too serious, and you can figure it out real easy. So, like I said, just an idea. So, listen, I'll let you go, and have a good evening. K9RMR, 73.